Hi, this is David again. I wanted to um, give you, the viewing public, the information that goes on in the Mormon temples. I'm telling you, if the public knew I'm not going to use the word atrocity. I think atrocity is too strong, but I'm certainly going to say the abuse and the cruelty of the things that go on in the temple. I was a temple veil worker in Los Angeles for about a year, Los Angeles temple. So I know the temple ceremony very, very well because I passed thousands of people through the veil, which is nothing more than a curtain that has holes cut in it. And I'm going to share with you my experience as a veil worker for the Mormon Church in their temple. And this is not going to be popular with the Mormons. And you know what? I don't care. This is what I saw and heard with my own ears and what I did for the Mormon Church. You can believe me. If you don't believe me, throw it in the trash. I don't care. I have no agenda here. If you like being a Mormon and you like all these pale ale and silly, oh God, hear the words of my voice and chanting, I don't care. I don't. So here's what would happen. After the session, movie is over with and all the people are almost, totally tired and asleep, they go to what's called the true order of prayer. Okay, what the true order of prayer is that they will have couples. It goes male, female, male, female, male, female around a circle. And the temple worker will say, please take the person to your left in the patriarchal grip. Maybe it's to your right. I can't remember, left or right. And the patriarchal grip is basically, this finger pointing into this part of the wrist, which is what's also called the patriarchal grip or sure sign of the nail. So all the women have these veils and funny hats on, and the men have baker's hat. If you've ever seen what a baker's hat or a graduation ceremony hat looks like, they all have that on. So the women all have to veil their faces. The men don't, but the women have to veil their faces. And so you take the person to the left of you. I remember, it's to the left of you. And you take them in the patriarchal grip. Then you put your left elbow on their right shoulder. Now you're all standing in a circle, okay? So you got them at the patriarchal grip, and you've got your hand, let me back up so you can, held to the square, and you put your elbow on their shoulder. Okay. Well, that's not, real weird. It's strange, but not real weird. And then the temple ordinance worker then kneels down at the altar. Now you're all around the altar with the patriarchal grip and the right hand to the square and on the left hand there. So he kneels down. Oh, it's always a he. Women have no place in the temple. You're just baby machines and you're just sex objects. And you have to veil your faces because he can't pray looking at the cute ones that come through. So anyway, he raises his right hand to the square, and he will say the prayer. And the members of the group will repeat the prayer. And he'll say, Our Heavenly Father. And then all of you will say, Our Heavenly Father. We're thankful that we're in the temple this wonderful day. We're thankful we're in the temple this wonderful day. So this is the true order of prayer. Now, before that prayer starts is the chanting that goes on in the Mormon ceremony. Now, this has been changed because the modern prophet talked to Jesus, and Jesus said, some people don't like that crap. Change it. So the prophet had no choice. He just changed it because that's what Jesus wanted. And so I'm telling you where I was 8 or 9 years ago in the temple. So they teach you in the true order of prayer that you raise your both hands above your head. I don't even know if I can do this anymore. And you say, Pay, lay, ale. Pay, lay, ale. Pay, lay, ale. So you have to say it 3 times, okay? And then the person who's in charge of the temple ceremony there at that time, he'll say, it signifies what Adam's language was. That was the Adamic language. Like, everybody knew what the Adamic language. I don't know who recorded this. I don't know if Adam had a tape recorder or Jesus just came down and told the prophet. Pele El means, oh God, hear the words of my mouth. Oh God, hear the words of my mouth. 3 times. Everything is 3 times. And so then you take the person in the patriarchal grip and you put your hand on their shoulder, and then he kneels down and he starts to say the prayer, and you repeat the prayer. Okay, then after that's over with, they go back to their seats in the theater, and then you come to the veil. You know, you got this is, I don't know with my microphone if you can hear this, but when you come to the veil, if you're a man, you go to the man's side of the veil. But if you're a woman, you go to the woman's side of the veil. And so they have these little old people there because you can't remember all this crap. Nobody, well, we can because we're veil workers. We've said it thousands of times. But the average Mormon, they can't remember this crap. So there's a little person there that whispers to them what to say. And so the little veil worker person, now this will be a female for the females, a male for the male, and they'll take a little knocker. Now I don't mean a boob. I don't mean a boob. I don't know who else uses knockers, but the Mormon Church has attached to the veil post a hammer, knocker. And so the person who is going to introduce you to the Lord will go. So they knock 3 times. See, 3 is the magic number in the temple. 3. Okay? And then I'm standing behind the veil, and I say, what is wanted? Like I don't know, but I'm being the Lord now. I am representing God or Jesus or the Mormon Jesus or whoever you believe in, but the Mormon Church believes, I guess, it's Jesus. And I'll say, what is wanted? And then, and I part the veil just a little bit. I kind of peek through. I don't show my face. You're not allowed to show your face if you're God. But you can part the curtain like they really know there's a God there. So the little person, a little old lady, a little old man will say, Eve, which, you know, your name may be Marcy or Cindy or whatever, has come to the veil to converse with the Lord. And basically, I'll say... something I can't even remember now. I'm just going through back, it's many years ago. A presenter at the veil, and so I put my right hand through the middle hole of the curtain, and I give her this. Let me show you here. It's on top of the knuckle. Okay, the first token of the Aaronic priesthood, and I will say to her, "What is that?" And she'll say, "The first token of the Aaronic priesthood." And then I'll say, does it have a name? And she says, it does. And I'll say, will you give it to me? And she'll say her name. Now the first sign, or the first one, is her given name. So if her mother named her Cindy, she'll say Cindy. And okay, and then I have this ceremony that I have to break. I have to break so we all know we're going to another token. So now I put my hand between her first and second knuckle. And let me turn it right there. You go, between. And I'll say, what is that? And she'll say, the second token of the Aaronic priesthood. And I'll say, does it have a name? And she says, it does. And I say, well, will you give it to me? And she says, I will through the veil. That's what she says, I will through the veil. And she'll say, that one there is going to be her new name that she was given in the temple, that name. So if her new name was Cindy, then she would say Cindy. And the old lady there knows if that's the right new name, because the new names in the temple for females and for males are all the same the first day. When you go in, everybody that day that's going through the temple will have the new name of Adam and the new name Margaret. And so that new name is common, so everybody knows in that session what that name should be. And so anyway, she'll give me her new name, and then I go through the breaking of the hands again. And I'm standing up there, but I have something to lean on. I have a post that I can kind of lean on to be God, because a lot of us gods were older. And so then I'd break it, and then I would say, she would put her hand out like this, and get my camera right, there you go. And I would like pinch between the front of her hand and the back of her hand with my thumb. And I would say, what is that? And she'll say, the first token of the Melchizedek priesthood. And I'll say, has it a name? And she says, it has. And I'll say, will you give it to me through the veil? And she'll say, the Son. Now, you've been told in the ceremony, it's not S-U-N, it's S-O-N. It's the Son of God. And then I will say, that is correct. Okay, and then I'll pull away again. And then basically, I give her the patriarchal grip, which is that special, you link the pinky underneath with the other person, and then, let me see if I can get my camera, and then you have this pointer finger that goes right on the wrist, okay? And so I give her the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, and I say, what is that? And she says, the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, the sure sign of the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, the sure sign of the nail. And I say, okay. I don't say okay. God doesn't go at casual stuff. And so I'll say, does it have a name? She says, it does. And I said, will you give it to me? And she says, I cannot. For this purpose I have come to converse with the Lord through the veil. And then, now this has changed, because Jesus heard the prayers of the local Mormon women who were getting molested at the veil. It used to be, when I was a veil worker, and up until 99, you had to give this token, or the name of this token, on what we called the 5 points of fellowship. Okay, the 5 points of fellowship was inside. Now we've got a curtain between us, but nothing else. Inside of right foot to left foot, or right foot, then knee to knee, breast to breast, mouth to ear, and hand to back. So I had to reach through now the new hole. Up, see, my hand is down here, and I have her in the patriarchal grip, and I reach through the top of the veil, and there's a hole there, and then she reaches through and puts her hand on my back. And then a lot of the women prayed to Jesus. They didn't like the breast to breast. Now, you know, I was a pretty decent guy. I really was into this. I mean, I was a very, I don't want to say humble, sacred kind of a guy, but I didn't screw around with this. I mean, to me, when I was doing this was very serious shit. But one day, I went into the a new temple, and they said, are you a veil worker? And I said, yes. And they said, could you go through the veil veil ceremony for us, so we know you know what you're doing? And I started, and when I got to, I would give you that token on the 5 points of fellowship. They said, oh, you haven't been to the temple for a year, have you? And I go, no, I haven't. How do you know that? You know, well, we don't do the 5 points of fellowship anymore. And I said, well, what do you do? What is the procedure these days? And so he said, well, we just avowed that. So the name of the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood, as I have to give it through the veil, is health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and in the sinews, power in the priesthood be upon me, and upon my posterity through all generations of time and throughout eternity. And then I'll say to her, what is that? And she repeats it. So there it is. You have it from a live temple worker. You want to know something about the Mormon temple, join the Mormon work and church, and get a temple recommend and go. But that's what I did in Los Angeles for over a year. Thanks. Bye.